Welcome back everyone for week 2 of building Geonosis. So this week, as you can tell, we are building up. We are building the exoskeleton of this entire MOC. So last week I talked about how this whole thing needs to ramp up on the side of a hill. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're not messing around, as you just saw, and we're building quite a bit this week. In fact, I think by the end of the week, I ended up using close to 10,000 bricks, which is just crazy. Thankfully, I've had a lot of these bricks on hand. A lot of them came from the Daro MOC, so I can build very quickly in terms of the elevation that's required for this MOC. Last week, I described how we have to basically build like 24 bricks high to elevate the entire MOC to get to the point where there is a trench to build the bridge over to the droid factory. And so that is the first part of this MOC, is just elevating everything, getting it all up to a higher point. And it's going to be using a lot of bricks, a lot of brick plates. I think a lot of you are going to be very surprised by how quickly the progress is going, and I hope to keep this up throughout the building series. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first week, but my goal is to have this MOC done by March 2023. There's a LEGO convention here in Virginia, Brick Fair, Fredericksburg. It's the first time in a new area in Virginia, and I really want to bring this MOC to Brick Fair, Fredericksburg. And again, that leaves me roughly 3-4 months from now to when this MOC needs to be complete. Thankfully, I again have built up my arsenal, if you will say, of Lego pieces where I can quickly move, but it still takes time to build these things, and so we're not going that fast, not as fast as, say, the Jedi Temple. For those of you hungry for big builds, I think I will satisfy your appetite this week with quite a lot of brick building. Let's get into this. Now, I do want to take a quick break from building and thank the sponsor of this video, which is Whatnot. They are continuing to support building Geonosis, which is absolutely fantastic, really helps with all the bricks that are required for this MOC. But guess what, guys? We have another giveaway on my upcoming Whatnot stream, which is this Thursday, and it'll be at 6 p.m. where you'll be able to win this, and you're probably like, what is this, David? Why are you holding a brown box? Well, this is a sealed ATTE. I bought this off Amazon, and when you buy them from Amazon, they come in the nice brown packages. So I'm just gonna slap a postage label on this, and you guys will be able to win this through my Whatnot stream. So if you're not familiar with Whatnot, it is a selling app where you can buy or sell things. And I particularly love selling my Lego Star Wars minifigures. I have way too many, and it is a great way to make a little bit of money to, again, contribute to the MOC behind me. But of course, it's also a great way to interact with you guys. A lot of the time during Whatnot streams, I'm just having conversations with you guys, talking about maybe building Geonosis, whatever Lego Star Wars sets are on the news, all kinds of fun things. And that is the best part of Whatnot, is the community aspect. So if you want to be a part of that and also win that ATTE, a link down in the description will be to that stream. Again, this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you'll also find a link where you can sign up on Whatnot and get $10 in free credits. So say you want to buy one of those Lego Star Wars minifigures I'm selling. Well, guess what? You can get $10 off one of those. And that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. And of course, guys, you don't need to buy anything during a Whatnot stream if you want to enter the giveaway. You just have to sign up on Whatnot and just be present for the stream and follow me as well. So thanks again to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. And without further ado, let's get back to building. So last week I did mention that I would make this MOC modular, and indeed I'm going forward with that. First off, I'm not doing just one gray base plate per modular section. Instead, I'm combining 2 gray base plates together. This actually allows me to consistently build more frequently and not have to worry about crossing over between sections by accident, and that does tend to happen. And another way to tell me, oh, hey, base plate sections is actually with the use of color. So in this case, you can see all these gray 2x8 bricks, but you also see the white 2x4 bricks, and those are signifying where the base plate sections are between each other. So I know, oh, hey, don't cross those bricks over. Don't accidentally connect 2 sections together, and then you get so far into the build and realize that they aren't separable, and you have to go back and basically rebuild it all. So it's very important that you pay attention to that, and so that is why I'm using different colored Lego bricks. Also, it just so happened what I had on hand. I had a whole bunch of white 2x4 bricks from the crate mock left over, so that ended up working out. But man, this is turning out to be quite the elevated mock. Again, like I said, this is going to be the biggest mock that I ever make, and I think that is turning out to be very true. You know, it is crazy to see just how much has happened within this first week. There is probably at least 100 maybe of those 16 by 16 brick plates. I've been collecting those for some time now, and they are so useful for modular building. So I actually want to take your attention to this. I'm sure at least some of you are probably wondering what I was doing here. So this is where the cave for where Geonomonde and his forces are going through and meeting up with Geonosians that obviously surprise attack them, and they end up using flamethrowers on them in the Landing at Point Rain episode. So it's going to be kind of a converging cave that goes inwards, and then it's actually going to lead to this area, which you can almost look at as stairs right now. But I did want to include something fun. So in the original plans from the first season of Geonosis, I had talked about doing some type of switchback, and I still want to include a switchback in this Geonosian mock. So that is exactly what this is, and it's actually accurate from what I can tell from the episode. When they get to the cave, they are up on the side of a mountain, and from what I could tell, there is some type of pathway going down to the landing area. So that is what I've started to craft. So it'll go down this way, and then it'll probably go down and meet the ground right there. So I think that'll end up looking pretty good. But you might also be wondering, why is it semi-empty? What's going on here? So the idea for the cave is that I wasn't going to build like a full roof, directly integrated with the 2 structures for 2 reasons. First off, this is a modular structure, meaning that all of these sections have to come apart. So if I were to build one big roof, this is like 3 sections right here that need to come apart. So that would be very difficult. So what I ended up doing is building up these 2 sides of the mountain. And this is just temporary, but this is supposed to, give you the idea of there's going to be a big roof, or it's really the top of the mountain. And that is going to be its own separate section that will just sit on these 2, acting as like a big bridge connecting the 2 mountain sections into one giant mountain covering the cave. And that'll allow the ability to obviously break up the mock, use the modular sections for transportation to a Lego convention. So that was my thought process with this. So this is just temporary. Again, it's just to show you guys that this is going to be roofed off. There's going to be a closed structure. It's just for now I'm going to leave it open because I want to design the cave while it's open, and then I will finish it off with a roof / mountaintop right here that'll just sit down, probably on some tiles, and it should be strong enough by using these Technic brick plates along with some other Technic structure. I have no doubt that it should be able to hold up over these 2 bigger mountain pillars, if you'll call it that. And it's actually a similar design that I came up with for the Jedi Temple, where I knew we were building up to a certain point, and then it was going to have, basically pillars all around it that a roof would sit onto it. So I'm really learning from previous creations of how to go about some of these things, especially when you're trying to transport them. Obviously, if I had plans where this MOC would never leave my studio, then I could definitely, build up a roof right now and just connect it all together. But again, the modularity, you have to kind of think a little bit different. So I do have some unfortunate news. Based on the comments from last week, and honestly, now that I have built up this whole area of the battlefield as well as the mountain, I'm no longer going to include the shield tower that would have gone right about here on the right side. I talked about it last week. It would have had a big satellite panel on it. It would have looked really cool. It's the thing that, puts that same type of shield generator that we see in episode 1 during the attack on Naboo. I really wanted to include that shield tower. It looks so cool in the episode, but I really think it was going to be way too cramped to include the shield tower. I would say it's like a trade-off. Either I build the shield tower or I build a droid factory. I don't think putting both in the same MOC is a good idea. It's going to be too overcrowded and just too much. Now, in replacement of the shield tower, and what you're seeing right now is I put some vehicles, Republic gunships, ATTs, and AATs, I kind of figured where the circle of gunships and ATTs, the actual landing at Point Rain. But I'm also now considering, now that the shield tower isn't going to be there, what if I put a downed gunship, the same one, Obi-Wan's gunship gets shot down, putting that in the replacement of the shield tower, I feel like would be a good idea. Also, this is all very preliminary. That I know the gunship looks so wacky with how it looks currently. It would look way more integrated and way more crashed than it does right now. It's just we're just kind of testing the waters out and seeing how this would look. Definitely write down your thoughts in the comments below of this decision that I'm going with. Am I making the right decision? I'm very curious. We'll see what happens in week 3, guys, and I'll see you guys next week.